Okay, good morning, everybody. It's an absolute total pleasure to co-host together with Sharmin Prince today this heart-to-heart talk, which is a reflection on a journey of self-discovery of 5 women, which went this journey together with Sharmin. And I thank you, Denicia, Kimyati, Trisha, Odessa, and Ashaka for joining us for this conversation. It's a real pleasure. And as I was telling Sharmin, this is the first time we have such a conversation, meaning bringing several different people on a panel, but people who have shared, not just any people on a panel, we've done that, but people who have shared the journey together and a journey of self-discovery. And I think I'm looking forward to a beautiful conversation. Sharmin, would you please present yourself for everybody? Just say a couple of words about yourself.
Hello, everyone. Good morning. I am Sharmin Prince. I am Guyanese, living in the US. I have over 20 years of experience working in the social services in New York City. However, I am a survivor of many traumatic experience. However, I have overcome, I got back on my feet and thought it was important for me to use the tools that help me to bounce back and create a program, thus birthed the Self-Discovery Ignite program. And that's who I am, and that's how I want you to remember me, as Sharmin Prince, the creator of Self-Discovery Ignite, and an overcomer. Thank you.
Thank you. How beautiful. And I would like to invite all the ladies, just do it in your own order. Just say also a couple of words for you, about you. Just a couple of things that you think we should know about you.
Okay, I'll start. My name is Ashaka King. I am a millennial and a boutique owner. And I mention millennial because we're at a phase right now where we're so engrossed in social media. And I think for me, it's relevant and prevalent because um, a lot of my trauma has occurred there. And but although the medium of trauma has changed, I have discovered through this friend that the healing for the trauma, the tools have basically remained the same. Self-discovery, finding the roots. So that's basically it. A young entrepreneur navigating and finding herself.
Beautiful, thank you. And we're really happy to have millennials. This is a big focus for us for the coming months and years. So welcome. Uh, who else wants to be next?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Odessa Baker. I'm not going to go into my age, but I'm old enough. I currently hold a diploma in psychology. I am going for my degree right now, and I work as a mental health counselor.
Beautiful, thank you. Thank you, Odessa.
Good day, everyone. My name is Denicia White. I am an agronomist by profession, and I am really into plants, into growing anything, and I find it to be very therapeutic. And I also own my own business where I focus on encouraging persons into gardening and into organic way of life, and also to provide these materials for persons as well.
Beautiful, thank you.
Hi everyone. I am Tricia Richards. I am a second term city councilor of the Georgetown City Council in Guyana. I am an entrepreneur. I'm also very passionate about volunteerism. Um, yeah, that is all I'll say for now.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, everybody. Do we miss somebody or did everybody?
We miss
Hi.
Kim.
Okay, sorry. Yes, I knew somebody more. Yeah, thank you.
Hi, good morning, everybody. Such a pleasure to be here. My name is Kemwati Sinrain. I'm an early childhood educator for over 17 years. Um, I would have been through a lot in my childhood and teen. I'm a survivor of different forms of abuse, physical, emotionally, sexual abuse. And I'm a proud and strong survivor. And I believe that God has kept me here for a purpose. And yes, I am ready to unfold and to work to fulfill that purpose.
Oh,
Thank you.
beautiful. Thank you. Thank you for this strength and energy you're showing. Thank you. I want to start this conversation with talking about purpose. I was reflecting the other day, and I feel when I was young, the pressure was on finding our career, like choosing a career, choosing a profession. When we were young, that's what everybody was asking us. Who are you going to become? What are you going to study and what are you going to become as a profession? And I feel right now there's a pressure in society on finding our purpose, which on one side it's great. I believe in that. But at the same time, I'm not always sure when people, with this pressure to find our purpose is, I mean, it's a little bit like when I was young as a career, there was artificial pressure to just say something and to say, this is my purpose. And there was this also feeling that it's a one-time job. You go for it, find your profession. In my case, in the case today, find your purpose and you stay there. How has this journey of getting to the core and finding your purpose, felt for you? What does it feel like to find your purpose? Do you have your purpose now? Do you know it?
All right, so I'll go. I'm happy that you mentioned that back in the day, it was like a one-time thing. And for me, finding my purpose is evolutionary and it does come with growth. And uh, getting to the core is basically finding the value within myself. So as I grow and I evolve, I've noticed that my purpose also evolves. So who I am today and the purpose that I'm going to serve right now in my capacity, I know that as I grow, that purpose will only increase. So it all starts with me.
Beautiful. Thank you. Anybody else?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll go. Well, to be honest, I wasn't sure about if I am actually living my purpose because at first I never wanted to be a childhood educator, but I've been there for 18 years actually now, and doing the self-discovery program helped me to actually accept and embrace it. So it feels finding actually accepting and embrace it make me feel a bit lighter, you know, that here I am and this is where God wants me to be, and there is a purpose, and the purpose is to serve, to give back, and to help help others to be a survivor. And working with children, I can say it uh, it took me back a lot of time, but I can tell you I did enjoy it. But I always question myself why, you know, why dear? And as much as I always wanted to find another job. I did so many things to find another job, and I come to a point where I said, you know what? When the time meet, it will come to me. And at this moment, I believe God wants me to be here, and this is, I'm serving my purpose right here. It makes me feel like a weight off, like okay, like a more accepting life's purpose. So that's it for me. It was a battle of accepting. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for that, because I agree with you. It's more about accepting, it's more about discovering rather than, I don't know, we sit and design it. So it's already designed for us, for our experiences, right? It's more about discovering it. Who else wants to join that?
I'll go next.
Speak next.
Okay,
Go ahead.
Go there.
let's go with Odeas, please. Go first. Yeah.
All right. For me, I don't actually know what that feels like because I am still getting there. And it is my experience and my opinion that these self-discovery classes, it's actually the vessel in which I'm using to find my purpose. Because if I consider my life a river and this self-discovery course is my boat, it is helping me and giving me that sort of, I want to say, security in going through my life, knowing that I can always come to Miss Sharmin and say, this is happening. I'm not sure if I should accept it as a roadblock, jump over it, or paddle in a different direction. So it's been a journey. It still is. When I find my purpose, I will definitely scream it from the rooftop when I realize what it is in this moment. When I find it, I'll scream. But for now, I am still going through that process of finding it.
But do you feel, if I'm getting you right, you feel you're on the right path, you're on the right journey, or does it feel like that or not?
So I have been working really hard on not labeling things because I'm one of those persons that overplan to the point where my plan has a plan.
Okay.
So I'm actually going with the flow because I'm trying not to say that there is a wrong path. It's just a path that I am on right now. And each path can teach me something different. So I am allowing things to come and I'm taking the time to learn my lessons from it.
Beautiful, beautiful. I couldn't agree with you more, because somebody was posted a few days ago, weeks maybe, on LinkedIn. There was one of these quotes that it's important, if we find ourselves on the wrong path, to not to worry, but just to go back to the right one. And I commented there that actually I don't think there's a wrong path. I think every path is there for a reason. It serves a purpose. It doesn't matter if it feels wrong sometimes, or it feels, I mean, it can feel like all kinds of things, like failure, even like success, but it still can be, it's still there for a reason. It's still part of the whole experience, and it's part of the whole journey of where we are and who we are. Okay, thank you so much for this. Denicia.
Yes, I'll go next. Thank you. What I have found is that my purpose was hidden under my fear. Fear and fears, I should make that plural. And self-discovery helped me to unleash who I am, to get me out of that box, to actually get me to accept who I am, to change my belief system, and also to reframe how I feel, how I think, and how I receive messages about myself from others. So what I found is, for example, like isolation was one of my go-to. And within removing some aspect of my isolation as a coping tool, I realized that one of my purpose is to speak, and I could have never spoken to anyone while being isolated. So I find that self-discovery was a driver for me to actually get discovered. And what I'm also discovering is that I find that I really don't have one purpose. As soon as I find one and I'm good at it, another one presents itself. And I keep evolving and evolving in a positive way.
Okay, thank you very much. And would you be comfortable? I mean, only if you're comfortable to share. I mean, when you said it was covered under fears, what were those fears? How did they feel for you?
Well, for me, my biggest fear in speaking out was actually saying something wrong or being accepted by others, and also drown in my lack of self-worth and self-esteem. So it was like I was a people pleaser, very much people pleasing. So I discovered who I am. I was comfortable to walk in my own light, in my own destiny. So that helped me to follow the path to discover my purpose.
Mm-hmm. And I wonder now, this is a question for everybody. Fears are definitely one of the biggest impediment in life. I mean, we all have them, and but they're not the only ones. So it's fears, and what else would you say? What are all the layers basically that we need to remove or clean out, or whatever word we want to choose, to get to this place where it feels we are whole, we are happy, we are we feel good basically about our lives. So what are the things that have been preventing you from being there?
Belief system.
Sorry?
My belief system. Through primary socialization, what I have learned growing up as a little girl, it actually framed the way I used to think and the stuff I believed and the way I go about life. Now, through self-discovery, I was able to refresh, replenish, revive my belief system and come with my own beliefs, where I have my own principles, govern my own life, and my principle as well to help others.
Yeah, I relate to that, yes. I think, Tricia, you wanted to say something? Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to say that I think finding purpose and going to the core, it's really a unique journey. And you really have to, it's like finding your authentic self, who you are as a person. And you learn that through finding purpose. And I found that when I am in a capacity to serve and help people, it's where I'm at my happiest. And as Ashaka said, that evolves over time. Doing different things, whether it's in your personal capacity or in your work, you find purpose by what makes you happy. And I think it's also when you're on the journey of self-discovery, you become mindful of your time and how you spend your time. And you go to a path where, am I doing something that will help society or help the world evolve or help myself? And I found that on this journey of self-discovery and finding my authentic self, I was able to find my inner voice. That level of consciousness where I don't know, maybe through the clutter and everything that has been happening externally and even internally, you kind of lost that voice over time. And once you're able to remove all of that, you start listening to what's inside, and you get to recognize or be mindful of what is it that makes me get excited to get up in the morning and go and do whatever it is that I want to do today, especially in the capacity to serve. Yeah.
Mm. So you find a direct relationship between finding your authentic voice, your authentic self, and the capacity to serve.
Sorry, I didn't get your question.
If I understand correctly, you see a direct connection between finding your authentic self and the capacity, the willingness to serve others.
Yes. Yeah, because I think it bridges one another. Because as I said, when you go within and you get to recognize, okay, what is it that I'm happy about? What makes me most happy? And when you have all these noise and distractions, you do things that you don't recognize or be mindful of what makes you you. And I found, if I can share, I think it was a couple months ago, we had our first activity as a self-discovery Ignite group, Eagles Empowered to Soar. And we were able to provide meals for the homeless persons in Georgetown. And I found that my energy was at the most high because I was really in the zone and in the vibe of serving and helping, and just to put a smile on somebody's face as a group and as a collective, that we were able to do something to impact, and to know that people are out there and there are, you know, we take for granted the simplest thing, to have a good meal and spend time with family. And when I was able to be a part of that, I I didn't want it to stop because it was so empowering. And so I found I was my happiest that I've been in months. Yeah.
Thank you, thank you. Beautiful, beautiful. And does anybody have additional on the question we're talking? Do you want to mention something more on this last subject? The connection between the capacity to serve, the whole willingness to devote your life to serve something beyond yourself, and finding your authentic voice, the connection there.
I'll add to what I've said earlier. So during the journey, and even now reflecting back, I think I was finding purpose, or I would say accepting purpose, was like freeing me. I was like a bird in a cage, and now I'm out and I'm flying free with my wings, high up. And I am more confident and more motivated, and I am me. And I would have recognized, embraced, and accept that it's me and this is my purpose.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I want to open, I have a few more questions, but I want to open it this time. Does anybody from the rest of the participants have a question for these ladies?
I don't have a question, but I have a comment actually. So first of all, thank you so much, each and everyone who has shared, because it's very inspiring to see how, you have taken your journey from, a very deep place, touching, the inner parts of yourself and bringing out your authenticity, your purpose. And my own experience with purpose is that, this is what gives me every day intrinsic motivation to continue to go on. And with all the challenges that, for example, we're facing right now in our lives, and even when we go through times of trauma or drops in our life, because it's never a constant. I think for me, purpose has always been my anchor, because when you know it, you know your values. And when you stand, you know what you stand for, you can always make the right choices that are aligned with those values. And by doing that, the alignment of the values with a greater objective or mission or direction in your life that's very clear in your mind, it's very easy to deliver impact. And when we do that, we feel that we are adding value, we feel our worth as human beings. And I think it's extremely important. And I agree with everyone that it's, sorry for that, that's my son. Oops. The Arabic teacher is calling, I apologize. Okay, so what I wanted to say, for me, my experience is that it's been a progressive journey to discover my purpose. And there are moments in life where I did things and I always used to wonder, like, what does this have to do with my purpose? And what does it have to do with my journey? But then after a couple of years, everything always, it's okay, I'm on a call. Yes.
That's life in its full form, yeah. I love it.
Okay, so I'll go back to the point that I'm trying to make. Hopefully I can make it. So basically, okay, so there are many points in time that I thought I was going through certain experiences in my life that, didn't make sense to me at all. But a couple of years down the line, as other things unfolded, I realized that they make perfect sense, and that the reason I was doing that particular experience is to fulfill another part of my purpose. So it's progressive, it helps you deliver impact. And my personal conviction, like all of you, is we all have gifts, we all have talents. And the minute we know what they are and we start using them to serve others and to deliver impact, is when we truly feel like grounded, fulfilled, and I would say happy. Yani, and I feel that it fluctuates. I wish sometimes we could sustain that vibration, that high energy that we reach. But, I think it takes hard work to stay in that mindset and to cultivate, that positivity, and that keeps us going. So I don't know about your experience, but for me, I feel like I know my purpose. I know that it continues to evolve with time and has evolved over time, but it's sustaining my energy to fulfill it that I find a little bit of something I have to cultivate and practice and make sure that I continue to stay in that high energy and vibe to be able to do that. I don't know what others.
I agree. I agree with you, Noha. Just to Noha, right? Just to touch on what you would have said. I truly believe that not only is purpose found through determination, right? But there's this meme that goes around that says purpose is deeply rooted or in our pain. And I believe that it's through self-discovery that I was able to, through the program with Miss Prince, I was able to find value in myself and find purpose in the trauma. You know what I mean? Like not look at my scars as scars perhaps, but as more so as beauty marks. And to be able to stand firmly and valiantly in overcoming and therefore spreading that message. So many times, so many things happen to us and we feel as though we're broken and woe is me. And no, woe is not you. You're still here. And there was a lesson to be learned there, and there's light to be shone upon that. So I agree with you. And sustaining that energy, like you would have said, sustaining that energy and maintaining that vibration, I believe it's there in deep rooted in belief that everything is going to work out, in belief that there's value here, there's a lesson to be learned. Like Odessa would have said, on that road, on that river, there's no wrong path. I'm supposed to be here, letting go of resistance and just accepting. I think that'll help us with our vibration and our energy.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I agree.
I love the the image of the river and the energy
Yeah.
that comes with stopping to resist. I love that, because we actually we spent majority of our lives trying to keep up with plans that and by keeping up with plans and expectations of others, we actually build bends to this energy, to the
And
energy of this
depress
river.
ourselves, right? Turn around and depress ourselves. Miss Prince has this thing called the so what theory. Like, you know, if it doesn't happen, so what? Like, what are you going to do? You know, and that has really, for many of for our sisters, that has brought some comfort, because we release, we let go, and we flow.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Sharmin, I want to go back to you now as the creator of this program, because I think it's fair to say that it was a journey of self-discovery for you that led you to the development, right? Could you tell us a little more about that?
So, not to re-traumatize myself or traumatize you, I have had traumatic experiences from age 5 that led me to isolation. And the only person I had was me. So I internalized a lot, and I learned to use me to help me. However, trauma after trauma after trauma, every decade of my life, I would say maybe around 20 years ago, I went to the US Army at age 33, and I spent 1 year. And it's the most important year of my life, because it's the first time I fell in love with Sharmin. Because when I look around, I ask myself, what am I doing here? But I had to be there because I found love for self. And I started on the journey after saying, okay, there is a lot to me than I embrace. And so there were times during that journey I couldn't rely on myself, and I sought therapy. One of my coping skills in dealing with my trauma was academics. So I went to school and I excelled. And so I learned theory and started to practice the theory that what I was learning. And there were times on the journey where I couldn't do it alone. And I sought help from a therapist. And, you know, it's like a year or 2 years, and then I stopped and I continued the journey. And the discoveries I've made on that journey, I couldn't keep it to myself. And I tried different ways of helping women, especially those with traumatic experiences, to recover. But I don't think it worked, but I learned. And I was stuck in Guyana because of the pandemic. My plan was to spend 3 months. I spent 9 months. And after the 3 months, I said, I am going to put together a program and document my experience and see if it works. And I did. And I want to thank the ladies who trusted me with their lives. And I'm sitting here. I don't know if I'm emotional, I'm elated, I want to cry, I want to scream, I want to jump up, but I can contain myself listening to each of the 5 women who started the journey that I went through and was able to translate to them, all at various levels in their lives, various experiences, various exposure, and to hear them share with you those experiences helped me to understand that I was able to extract the strengths, the power, the resilience, the inspiration, the encouragement, and everything that is positive about my traumatic experiences, and to help others. Thank you for this opportunity, Natalia.
Thank you. It's a pleasure, and it's a real pleasure to have you here. I'm going to explain now also like what's the bigger picture, but I want to also tell you that you should be proud of. I mean, what we're seeing here is amazing women in their strengths, and you should be proud of having contributed to their lives. And I'm sure we're going to contribute now to others, as we're already doing. With this conversation, we're going to reach more women. And it's not just the conversation. I mean, there's much more we can do together. What I wanted to share also is that we all, I believe, I mean, I'm going back to why we started this community and the journey on which we are. Because what you're all speaking here about is really related to why we are also together. Because for me, there's work we need to do together as community, as people from around the world, to there's a further support, further way in which we can support each other's journey in creating bigger, basically finding our authentic voice so that we can contribute to a better world, so that we can be the women, the human beings that the world needs today to make a step forward. And that's why for me was also interesting this question about, I actually believe that unless we find our authentic voice, unless we find, we tune in into our values and we tune into what we intuitively feel and know, and tune in into inspiration, we cannot, if I can ask you to mute, please, because, yes, thank you. So unless we go on that journey and do all that work, we are continuing to be in the rat race, I call it, in wherever society is pulling us. We're not happy. We're not dealing with our trouble, I mean, wounds and everything else. And we are actually, if we don't do this, we are contributing to the world, to actually I would call it the bad in the world. We often, when we look at like everything that we don't like, climate changes, human rights, every issue we look at, when we really look at it, it's not about politicians, it's not about corporate leaders. We're all in it together, right? We are in these workplaces, in these companies that maybe are damaging the environment. There's hundreds of thousands of people millions of people working in companies that are damaging the environment. And to me, if we don't find our authentic selves, if we don't find our authentic voices, we are actually contributors to wrongdoing, because we are driven by fears, we're driven by wounds, and unknowingly we contribute to the world continuing with its wrongdoing, so to say. Would you agree with me? Do you see that connection, or am I going too far for you?
I totally agree with you, because when we wear masks And that's what I call it. Masks to hide our pain, masks to hide our experiences, masks to hide our trauma. And we're covering our authenticity. And sometimes we're unaware that that's what we're presenting to the world. So it's difficult to make a positive contribution or an impactful contribution to the world. But as we begin to unmask, peel off regrets, peel off the pain of the trauma, peel off the shame, peel off the guilt, peel off unforgiveness and hate and all the negative result of trauma and pain, we see the world through different lenses and interact with the world differently. Because my interaction with the universe is totally different than 20 years ago or even a year ago. So as we begin to evolve and connect with our authenticity, the world around us changes. There is an evolution that takes place. The evolution or transformation does not just occur internally, it occurs externally. And if more of us can begin to unmask and connect with that inner frequency and let it vibrate from within outwardly, the world is going to be a better place. We are going to we can transform the world if we transform ourselves. It all begins with us. Finding who you are, finding that authentic person that is hiding behind all the masks that we created to help us to survive our traumatic experiences. But at the end of the trauma, we're supposed to take off the mask, but no one taught us that. So we went into the next phase of our lives with the mask. And then we continue like that with every experience that we've had. And eventually the authentic self got lost behind all those masks.
Absolutely. And what I want to add here for other people listening to us is that trauma is definitely one of the big reasons for that, but it's not the only one. I see a lot of women who actually have not had such a traumatic experiences. They've lived kind of a, I don't know, more easygoing life. Things were going okay for them. But there's something else that serves as the trauma. It's still keeping them not authentic. This is the following societal expectations, like staying in a box of what's good and what's right instead of following their hearts. And although they haven't experienced trauma in the real, like real dramatic sense that some of us have, they're as traumatized by this although their life looks more rosy, so to say. So it's actually, whether we think we have had, basically, I think the whole world right now, and especially women, are on a journey of recovering that authentic self, no matter where we've been, because we've all have been put in roles, asked to follow expectations. I mean, it's true for everybody. I am right now, I'm not Swiss, but I live in Switzerland. And you know, Switzerland is like a wealthy, well-known country. Only 50 years ago, women were not allowed to vote. This is 50 years ago. This is not 300, 500. It's 50 years. This is very short time. I mean, I know some of them, you are younger, so maybe it looks like far away, but in the history of humanity, 50 years is nothing. So we all carry this still within us, this other expectations of society on us. So we all have to go on this journey of self-discovery actually, and support each other to find our authentic voice, find out who we truly are. And you were talking, and I couldn't agree more with you, that the world becomes a better place once we do this process for ourselves. And this is actually our role as change makers, is not to point fingers at others and say we want this to change and that to change and that person to change, and not to accuse others, but really to stand in our full power and beauty. And then the world starts changing, as you beautiful described. And I want to give here the word to everybody else. I think Shaka wants to say something, but along with what you want to say, please also tell us how Women Heart to Heart as a community can support this process. What can we do together for each other to support this process for more people? Because there's value also of getting outside of our. For me, one of the beauties of a global community like Women Heart to Heart is we can also get outside of the local communities, local groups of people that we are part of, and join other people globally and see. I mean, every conversations we've had, we've walked out with this sense of shared humanity, because it's the same journey we are on, no matter whether you're, I mean, we have here people from many continents, no matter where we are, we're in the same journey. So how can we support each other? And let's start with the Shaka, because I think you had something to reflect on the previous question, right?
Wow. Okay. All right. To answer this question that you would have asked, I feel as though in order to help people along their journey, I think it comes from light and shedding light or being light. And what I mean by that is, so many times people or women, you just mentioned that women that may have had a less traumatic experience seem to somehow still be unhappy. And that's because of fear, I would say, fear of trauma. You know what I mean? So there's a lot, oops. Hello? Okay,
yes,
sorry
all
about that.
good. Yes.
Okay, there's a lot that's on display. There's a lot of darkness and there's a lot of pain that's on display. But that quote that I keep referring to by Marianne Williamson that says, when we let our light shine, then we give other people permission to let their light shine too. And what I would have found in the community that Miss Prince would have created is that I was not alone in my pain, or my traumas were not unique to me. So that, in terms of shedding light, that in itself was support. That removes the whole woe is me, why me, the world is against me kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like you said, we're all connected in this journey and we all can help each other. So by being my best self and finding my best self, again, I'm letting other people know that it's okay. People are attracted to light. People are attracted to success. People are attracted to those to the glitz and the glam. But you can be that while still letting people know that I'm that despite of what happened. It's okay, you know? So I think that to answer your question, that's what we can do on a global level. We can connect that way, light, all masked off, like Miss Prince would say, rip it off and just be you. That in itself also helps us to be kind because of that familiarity, of remembering. I feel as though when we close ourselves in, it's resistance to what has happened instead of sitting with the pain and learning the lesson that it would have taught us. So we become resentful and then we respond to everyone else in that way.
Well said. Thank you for that. Well said. Thank you.
Thanks, Natalia.
Who wants to share something? Maybe yes.
Okay,
Well,
I'll go. Oh, somebody's going to go.
Go
Go
ahead.
yes,
ahead.
Trish, go
yes.
ahead.
For me,
Oh,
I think one way where we can help to reach women is by creating a space where women can come together and see the positivity in being vulnerable. Most persons would look at vulnerability as being something negative, as if my story is going to go out in a negative way. I think programs like the self-discovery program would enlighten a lot of women to actually cultivate unconditional self-worth. And this is what pushes us to be our authentic self, to accept ourselves, and in order to forgive ourselves as well. And just being in the space, in the environment, in the light, in the energy of a self-discovery group will actually propel you to go way beyond and above what you can actually even imagine for yourself. And this is a testimony, this is a personal testimony, because, and the other ladies can attribute to it, because even if you're having a bad day and you come together with your tribe and you have a wonderful gathering where you see, like, it's not you alone, as Ashaka said, it's not me alone. We're here as a community, as a tribe, as sisters to hold, support, and motivate each other. So I think, or not that I think, I know that having programs, sessions, and gatherings like these would actually help women in overcoming any hurdles, in overcoming any trauma, or any way, anything that hinders them to walk in their full potential and purpose.
Thank you, Denise. Beautiful.
Yeah, for me, I wanted to share a couple of ideas. I think there's a lot of value in terms of having the authentic conversations and a support network for women. Maybe it's centered around, turning fear to power, pain to power, and maybe even igniting your power is about that, and bringing that light out in each and every one of us. So the conversations would tackle those things, the fears, the hidden stories that nobody wants to share, in public, and it would be a very safe, confidential space where people can actually talk about those things and share them with other women and connect and relate. And then the other thing, I think, which is for those who actually, are ready and willing to go to dig deeper, is actually being able to access programs like the self-discovery that is tailored to actually address these specific things. Yani, I think personally, I talk for myself because I can't talk for the whole community, but I would totally, despite the fact that I may have had different experiences than the women who shared here today, but I would totally feel that I would benefit from a program like that, to overcome some of my anxieties, some of my fears, some of my development areas that, self-doubt, imposter syndrome, that sometimes are keeping me away from fully living in my power. And I think that just by hearing these stories and being here today, I actually already feel a sense of, inspiration and energy that is pushing me forward and showing me that so many other women have been through similar experiences, or even much more intense, or I don't know how to use the right term here, but much more you know experiences that have affected them, like some people were saying they reached rock bottom, etc. So by just hearing that and knowing what those stories are, you tend to feel that your situation is manageable, and even no matter how bad it is, you can overcome it together, as women together. And I think this is really really important. Yeah, the discussions, the dialogue, and the peeling process of the layers, I guess, for everyone.
Thank you, Noha. Any other opinions? I mean, the hour is gone. I can't believe it's gone. We officially scheduled for an hour, but we can stay a few more minutes just to properly close it, because I mean, the energy I feel from you ladies, I mean, it's just amazing. It's what makes me, and I can tell you, you're making the world a better place by being who you are. I mean, it's just beautiful feeling it. I mean, it just, there's this um, incredible power coming from this conversation, and I'm so, I feel honored and humble to be here listening about your stories. It's totally amazing. So let's go for a final round of I mean, is there somebody who wants to ask from participants? We didn't give a lot of space. Any
Oh,
questions,
so,
any comments? Yeah.
Oh, I was just going
oh,
to
so I
contribute.
wanted to say that,
Yes,
oh,
Trisha,
so
go
I,
ahead.
oh yeah, talking about how women heart to heart can impact the global community. I just, it's something that I thought about that we all can do as we are here in this room, gathered virtually, is be kind to one another. I think that goes a long way. And to every woman that you meet, and one of the most important things that I've learned in self-discovery is to remove judgment. Um, remove judgment from myself and don't judge others. Just allow people to be able to speak their truth, whatever their truths are. And when you do that, you allow people to be themselves, and that's how you find people being authentic and being real with you and embrace you more. So we two things that we can do almost immediately is be kind to one another and remove judgment from our discussions and what we have to say and what people have to say. And Charmin spoke earlier about unmasking as we remove layers. And I just thought how important that is. Um, and in society where we allow messages to hit us, external messages from people around us, and even the messages that we tell ourselves. And that's one of the biggest things that I've learned in self-discovery is what people have to say about me is not my business, and what I have to say, and sometimes even the things I have to say about myself is not my business, especially the negative thoughts that you would have and that people will have about you. And I found that, on this journey of learning to love myself and be kind to myself, I've learned to build confidence and self-worth, and knowing that, regardless of whatever is happening in life, I'm going to be okay, and I am worthy of all the things that the universe has in place for me. And once you learn that, you really get to connect to your core. And I just wanted to say that. So thank you for listening.
Thank you. Thank you for telling us. Yes, for sharing.
It's time. It's time for me. It's May.
Yes, please go ahead. Yes.
Okay. So to answer your question, what can we do? Let me rewind a little bit back. If self-discovery came to me during my teenage age, I couldn't imagine the woman I would have been here today. But as I say, everything maybe happens at a time and for a reason. So as a Guyanese woman, I can tell you that the value that self-discovery bring to me, I don't think I could pay for it, because I wasn't offered any terms, any type of counseling. So sorry for that pause, but
Brief.
what I'm trying to say is that I did not get help from the people that I had expected that I would get help, because as a child, my mother took me to social protection. That at that time, the organization, the governmental organization, was um, Ministry of Social Protection. And I cannot remember one day I was being offered counseling, so, or someone telling me, right, that it was not my fault. They all sit, listen to my story, and use my story for political gain. And no one ever came to look or to offer welfare services, right? They just had their own agenda with what I would have experienced. And I had to battle it on my own because my mom wasn't, she did what she knew. And that's something I learned from self-discovery. She did what she knew, right? I'm trying not to be emotional, but self-discovery is needed in Guyana. And I feel that self-discovery should reach to every woman or girl that would have experienced trauma that I would have experienced, because I feel our system is not offering enough. And I speak on behalf, I represent my country in that behalf, right? There's not enough offered. And that's why we have the high rate in the suicidal rate, and and young girls, women not actually finding or being what we say, um, being strong enough, right? Because I would count myself lucky, and perhaps God knows the reason. I may count myself lucky, but I've known of a lot of victims. And only the other day, a lawyer was saying that would have known of my story, and two other victims that was abused by the same perpetrator. The lawyer said that I am lucky because the other two did not make it this far. And you know what? I say that's purpose. I say that's purpose. But I would have wished, if that no one must be unfortunate in such situation. There must be a way and help to get out of it. No one deserves to be unfortunate. So if I know Miss Sharmin cannot do this alone, so if we can be further equipped to do this, to offer this, it would be great. And it would be great if we can have more collaboration. Thank you, and I'm sorry for the emotional.
Don't say you're sorry. It's beautiful. Thank you for sharing with us and for sharing your truth.
I know that we are late. And I just want to jump in and say something, just share something quickly. I got emotional when my sister from Guyana was speaking because I am also from the Caribbean. I know Miss Sharmin. And I think when we speak about self-discovery, one important thing that we as women who have experienced trauma and working through trauma, one thing we need to embrace is to embrace our truth. So what does that look like for you, for me, for everyone here, if we are going forward to help to heal others as we heal ourselves and transform and inspire, right? These are the things that I think that we should do. We have to engage the inner enemy, which is us, because we live in a society where we are traumatized, and we're being re-traumatized. And the world it's like the world is against us. So how do we take up that mantle? You have to start living from a place of intention. This is who I am. This is what I need to do. This happened to me, but this is where I am standing. I'm going to stand in that truth, but I'm going to use that truth to help others to transform their lives. And that is something that I have been living from because of my Caribbean background. I know what my sister is speaking about. There's a lot of work for us to do. So we have to begin transforming ourselves first so we can inspire and we can heal. And that is really what I want to say. And also continue to live from a place of gratitude. Be grateful for everything that I know it might sound strange, but we have to be grateful for our experiences, because those experiences is what is going to continue to propel us forward to say, I don't want that to happen to another woman. And I'm going to sit, stand, run, breathe, think, do everything in my power from that experience to change the world. That's what I want to share.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Any other closing remarks? Sharmin?
Kimwati had me in, oh, I don't wear makeup, but I'm very emotional. I want to say, Natalia, thank you for providing us this platform. Thank you for providing these royal women, as I call them, because I ascribe royalty to them, because this journey, some of them have been on the journey for the last, I think, 16 weeks, and others has been on the journey for the last 6 months. They both are ending next month. And to sit and listen and to see the transformation, because I can tell you stories of when I met each of them and what they presented and who was presented on this platform are not the people that I met initially. And to sit and see their transformation is emotional, very emotional. So thank you. Thanks to everyone else who tuned in. Thanks to Noha for her contributions. And you asked how we can go forward. Self-discovery has many parts and many layers. And I think we can collaborate in offering this program to every woman that we can reach. Secondly, it has been condensed to 4 weeks or 32 hours. You mentioned twice that there are some women who has never experienced traumatic experiences or never had traumatic experiences. I just want to say that stress and trauma are on the same continuum. So this program can also be effective for someone who has high stress, extreme stress level, mild trauma, or severe trauma. Also, as women, we experience societal trauma despite of where on the globe you are, despite your nationality, your ethnicity, your race. There are expectations that were placed on you that you have to live up to. But deep in your core, there is someone else that is longing for the things that society does not expect of you. And that is stressful. And that can also become traumatic because it's on the same continuum. So let us collaborate and offer this to women so that we can ignite their light, ignite their power, and ignite purpose. And let's change the world collectively. Thank you.
Thank you, Sharmin. And we definitely would be looking into this and other similar programs, it's actually part of our, we call it Change Whisperer programs, Change Whisperer level of programs and membership. But what I want to add to that, and definitely this is a key part of the journey, what I want to add to that is that our ambitions, our intention as a community goes beyond that. It's into the impact. It's after we do the healing, having this power, which we saw now in women, this power and beauty together. What can we do collectively to help others? How can we create projects that will continue to spread the good? And actually this, what will be happening in the next month. So I'm inviting all of you to stay tuned in the next month. Actually, Noha is here. She's leading our idea lab. There will be meetings that we'll hold the space in different time zones to actually talk about ideas. What can we do together? What are the different projects we can start? In addition to healing. So healing and learning is but once we feel that power, how can we help each other scale our impact? And how can we collectively co-create a more beautiful world? So thank you, everybody. It was an amazing conversation. I'm so grateful and so full of energy after it. So thank you very much. Thank you for taking the time to be with us. And thank you on behalf of all the other women which are going to listen to this conversation. It was beautiful.
Thank you, Natalia. Thank you for having us.
Thank you. Goodbye. See you soon. See you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.